Hey guys, Dark Humility here with a new build on Season 8 closed beta. Here we are. This is now officially the age of the two-handed Zealer. For a long time, the one-handed Zealer had reigned supreme, but no longer. When it comes to maps and Ubers, the two-handed Zealer has the real damage and now has real survivability. The power of buffed Holy Sword, and very good Holy Sword, a new skill that allows you to block with a two-handed weapon and insane amounts of damage. Zeal is terrifying with this. It may even become the meta for defeating Uber bosses such as Rathma and Declone on the Paladin. Why? Because you could even use the sword Doombringer, which gives you maximum life and weaken on striking, making it very appealing. Anyways, let's go over it a little bit here so you guys can see what this is all about. We're just going to use Pride and Might on an Act 2 mercenary with proccing enchant using Lava Gouts. Pretty basic, strong mercenary for damage, giving us some extra auras, more auras from Wisp Projector, of course, and we're also using the buffed Grandfather. Grandfather's back, baby. And with all these two-handed sword builds, yeah, you could also use it maybe on a Whirlwind Barb, but it might be even better on something like this that isn't trying to like stack as much negative res as possible at all times. So this, beastly. Obviously, you don't need a Zod in it. They buffed it up with the repairs durability and gave it extra ED. So that stuff is nice. I would just ignore the war cries. But the fact that it gives 2 all skills makes it usable by other classes as well, which is pretty cool. So overall, just a massive buff for Grandfather. And with Holy Sword, it's perfect. I'm going to use Fortitude as well. If you've used Doombringer and Innocence, this would be the hardcore approach. Basically, you just proc weaken constantly, making all the monsters really weak, on top of having block and a lot of life. Making this extremely tanky for hardcore. I might show that off a little bit here. You need to go Crown of Ages as well. Atmas is pretty solid. Use High Lords on the hardcore thing, because otherwise you're just casting Weaken over your amp. That's not going to really work. And then, you know, just your typical physical damage items, really. Negative res. Everything else you possibly want. Believe it or not, Zeal is greatly benefited now from P-combs. You could still use max damage DCs. That's still possible. But you can use P-combs as well and give yourself some res. You can use max damage down here as well. I kind of want some res though. As you can see, it struggles with res a bit. Definitely want max res in hardcore for sure if that's the route you're going. You can see though, yeah, the only thing this build has is some res problems, but that's okay. And then, you know, you're going to max out Zeal, Sacrifice. It's really nice to max out Joust too, so you can constantly move between enemies. You don't have to max it out, but Joust by itself also does a massive amount of damage. Just jumping straight into things, just crushing them with the two-handed sword. So it's kind of like Zeal Joust build. Holy Sword itself gives you a lot of defensive power. It's very good. And then this is the only aura we're kind of missing for damage, so there you have it. Got the Blessed Aim Merc as well, so all the damage, all the fun. Blessed Aim giving some deadly strike if you don't know as well. Alright, we're gonna launch ourselves into the monsters and crush them. You go Atmas or High Lords either way, but I do like having the ability to amp things. It's just really nice to... really satisfying when you get that, just like one-shotting insanely tanky monsters, so it's all fun. So as is typical with Zeal, I think it's best to show Zeal off in a situation of a fortified map. Definitely, if you guys don't know, Zeal definitely thrives on this. Now, what's interesting to note is that with a couple of modifications, you can also do Charge or Sacrifice with a pretty similar build. And you're also going to get similar results. You might not want to do Fortified with those other types of builds. You might want more density, but Zeal Fortified is definitely the way to go. get a map with it. I love Zeal, so I have to like highlight Zeal every once in a while. It's like one of my favorite skills in the game. So as you can see here, 38k Zeal, no joke. Got max attack speed too. Make sure you have max attack speed with fanaticism, of course. Look how fast these monsters are dying. Your stuff. Oh man. Yeah, fortified monsters are very tanky, but as you can see, practically one-shot them with this. Just jump right in. Very convincing. The great fortified build. You're mapping with it. I imagine this is going to be great against Ubers with the Doombringer version. Let's see if I can amp this guy real quick. Oh, I didn't even have to. So, I can show you how this build will also work here real quick if you want to check it out. Not proccing it yet for some reason. There we go. Also, the leech is pretty insane when your weapon does so much damage. So, like, as long as you got the block from Holy Sword, you know. Not really dying. My res is even worse with the what's supposed to be the tankier setup. But it's okay. Constantly getting weakened on the monsters. Weaken is very effective stuff. It's 14% chance level 21 weaken, and that's when you use Zeal on top of when the blade shield hits as well, so it's just constantly proccing it. And you notice that I have a really solid health pool here. Kind of tough for things to kill me. I think I'm buffed. No, buffed, yeah, I'm buffed. That's true. Pretty insane grandfather, but then again... So this is a funny bug. I don't know what's going on. I think it has something to do with Holy Sword. All of your light radius just vanishes somehow. I think they'll fix it before live though, so don't worry about that. Look how fast we just eviscerated that elite there. Once again, remember this is fortified, so these monsters are supposed to be pretty tough. Not tougher than me though. Let's get that amp on him if we can. Guess he didn't, but that's how much damage we do there. That is insane. It's a fortified boss just getting slammed. I don't know. I think this is pretty fun. Remember, of course, you can use charge or sacrifice, so that's really cool. I don't know. No idea, dude. Trip. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, what it is that, so Crushing Blow used to basically be, if you put any amount of it on any of your gear, it doesn't matter, it didn't need to be a high amount, it would have the same effect as having a lot of it, because it only worked up to 65% anyway. And it was always insanely effective when it hit, so you basically only needed to like hit twice with it. Maybe 2 or 3 times. Now, the amount of Crushing Blow matters because it's actually adding to your damage all the way to 0 again.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
So I think that's a lot better of a situation because now the stat is valued on multiple pieces of gear and still is adding to your damage somehow. Yes, I've tested Smiter's. Smiter's looking a lot better now. It also doesn't have knockback anymore as well. I don't know if I highlighted Smite. I don't know how interesting it is, but It's really interesting against bosses. I can't really like test bosses though on the beta, like Ubers. Otherwise, I would, because that'd be pretty fun. But you know, yeah, it's got decent splat. It can map kind of sort of, but not really. I don't know. The best thing to do with Smite, honestly, is to proc hammers with Akarat's Devotion. That's actually the best Smite technique. Yeah. Knockback was just annoying. Yeah, well, it was designed for PvP, because like knockback is really supposed to mess people up in PvP. Anyways, GG guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the demo. Got a lot of different things going on here. We got the new Holy Sword. We've got it helping us out defensively. We got a new Grandfather, a new Doombringer. It's really enabling the power of two-handed Zeal here, really making it a thing. I would say this was always like a really bad meme because you would always jump into monsters and die instantly. As you can see, even when we're up against really high density, we will not fall, at least not easily. I actually feel like this build feels very tanky. And for a two-handed build, you wouldn't expect that. I'm not even using the Doombringer, and I feel pretty tanky. Yeah, res is pretty trash. Now note, as you can see, it's not great at density clear, of course, because Zeal isn't great at density clear. That's why you do fortified maps. But you can see here that I can survive just fine, though. Not having major survivability issues like you would normally have on a two-handed paladin. So I'm taking damage here and there, but it's not that bad. This is a good test of it here. We got a concentration aura. Oh, there you go. Look at that stone skin boy. Alright, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the demo. And crush it with Holy Sword in Season 8. Smash it. See you guys in the next one.